Good evening, and thank you. It's been a great privilege to represent the assistant principals from all over the state of Minnesota this year. I remember receiving the phone call from Dr. Don Johnson in late November last year with the news. It was and continues to be a surreal experience and a fantastic trip. One never wins such an award like this. Many people contribute to a school's success as well as to an individual's success. There have been many great people who have helped me along the way. Aside from working with a great staff and some of the best students you will find, I would like to thank a couple of people. I would like to thank Dr. Bruce Locklear for recruiting me into the AP position and giving me a great deal of advice as well as confidence at my job. He was and continues to be a great mentor. Mr. Matthew Shane for being my mentor during these previous 6 years. I learned different types of leadership from both Bruce and Matt. Matt also nominated me for the AP of the Year for the Central Division. Thank you, Central Division. Go Central Division, as we also had the principal and middle level principal of the year. I would like to thank our current Delano High School administrative team, Dr. Steve Heil, our principal, and Mr. Mike Lindquist, our activities administrator. Together, we continue working to make Delano High School even better for our students, staff, and community. Everyone in this room knows or has had some contact with Roger Aronson, our MASSP attorney. Roger, I thank you for the many sound pieces of advice that you've given me during the past 10 years or so. Thanks to you, one of the things I now realize is that I know I will never, and it's never a good idea, to perform strip searches. I would also like to thank MASSP for their consideration and eventual selection as the Minnesota Assistant Principal of the Year 2013. As such, I had the distinct pleasure to represent the assistant principals from this state in Washington, D.C. in early April. While most of you were here watching the snow fly and trying to determine whether or not you were going to have school, my wife and I were basking in the 90-degree sun of the D.C. area. Aside from visiting our legislators and attending galas, the cherry blossoms were in full bloom, making this truly a bucket list trip. I would also like to thank the national sponsors of the program. Verco sponsors the National Assistant Principal of the Year program, allowing us to go to D.C. for the gala and awards ceremony. I would also like to thank LifeTouch for the many pictures from this event and Jostens for the ring. Everyone in here knows that in order to do what we do, we have to have the support of our spouses and or significant others. Spouses of principals and assistant principals have to put up with a lot. My spouse is like my meteorologist. We've weathered a lot of storms together. She knows when my temperature is too hot or too cold. When the weather is rough, she stays up with me late into the night waiting for things to calm down. She can read me like a weather map. And most importantly, she's like my compass. She is my true north. She keeps me pointed in the right direction and helps me keep my priorities straight. To my wife, Carla, I thank you for your support. As I began preparing this speech, I kept thinking to myself that I was a math major for a reason, and writing speeches was definitely one of those reasons. So I asked myself, what could I possibly say to an esteemed group of colleagues that you probably haven't already heard? So I decided not to even try. I decided to review a couple of the things that we do in administration and why we do them. I've specifically chosen the use of we because you likely have had similar experiences, so these could be representative of any one of us. So here goes. This is some of what we do and why we do it. We do technology. We schedule MCA testing, we reserve computer labs, and we work with tech departments to ensure that the technology is up to date for testing. We put together PowerPoint presentations. We use smartphones connecting us to our jobs 24/7. We experiment with software like Edmodo, Poll Everywhere, and Moodle. We use our iPads. We spend our own money at the App Store. We do technology. We lead. We attend IEP meetings. We research for 40 to 50 hours to put together a couple of 3-hour professional development presentations. We evaluate staff. We have courageous conversations with staff. We create calendars. We plan in-services, and we plan and implement staff meetings. We lead. We do. We shave our heads for charity. We give facts to parents so they can settle their divorce decrees and child support payments. We ticket cars in the parking lot. We tow cars. We sign Social Security eligibility forms. We check pockets and purses, perform backpack searches. We check pockets and shoes, sometimes not finding what we're looking for, but knowing that they have what we're looking for on them. It's just that we're not going to search where they've hidden it. Right, Roger? During routine tardy detention visits to our offices, we ask open-ended questions like, "Why are you in my office?" To which we sometimes get the reply, "I suppose this has something to do with your house Friday night." We supervise halls and cafeterias, games and prom. We check grades and attendance. We schedule. We send in truancy paperwork. We discipline students with dignity, even though parents may not agree. We kneel down on cafeteria floors, supporting students through hour-long seizures, and of course follow up with a phone call home to make sure that the student is making satisfactory progress. We support teachers almost unconditionally. We mediate between parents and teachers. We get involved after parents send such emails as, and I quote, "I don't care about the rest of your class earning an average of B-. I only care about my son, and you're teaching him at the D- level for the information covered on this quiz. He's the kid. You're the master-degreed teacher, paid a great deal, and given 3 months off per year to do better than D-. We visit staff and students in the hospital. We negotiate. We coerce. We make announcements. We come in on Sunday morning after receiving a phone call to print a transcript for students. We try hard to keep work off the principal's desk. We do. We play. We play hacky sack and volleyball, basketball, soccer, and foursquare with our students. We play games with our school resource officer. Games like, can we slip in a famous movie quote during an interrogation? Lines like, what we have here is a failure to communicate, and you can't handle the truth, only with slightly different intonation. We dance at variety shows. We do cartwheels for classroom videos. We announce at basketball games. We give grief to students wearing high school gear from other high schools. So we play. We listen. We listen to students complain about teachers. We listen to teachers complain about students. We listen to parents complain about teachers. We listen to teachers complain about parents. We listen to students complain about parents. We listen to parents complain about their exes, explaining why their child is behaving the way they are. We listen. We put up with a lot. We put up with our houses being egged and our children asking, why did they do that to our house? We put up with our mailboxes being run over, our cars being keyed, trees being toilet papered, and being called every name in the book. And sometimes it actually does hurt our feelings. We put up with parents who can't get along with one another and ask the school to make decisions for them. We put up with students not following dress code directions for graduation day and then getting lippy when being corrected. We put up with great government conspiracies, obviously, making parents remove their students from being allowed to listen to the President of the United States speak to their children about the importance of getting a good education. We put up with a lot. So why do we do this? Why do we do what we do? We do this to prevent issues, not because we like seeing students get into trouble. We do this for the student who got tackled in the middle of the street one February day when he was supposed to be in school. We do this for that same student who was cited for disorderly conduct as a junior for using abusive language to administration, in the media center no less. Then seeing that same student thrive in his senior year and making Facebook posts like, Mr. Vio is the only one in that school who cares. We do this for the student who was one of the detention most frequent flyers while in school, who cursed the school while in attendance, but came back 5 years later to announce that he's going to be a licensed teacher, a tech ed teacher. We do this for the high fives at the end of every day, because every once in a while we hear things like, "This is the best part of my day." We do this for the student whose parents are chemically dependent, for the student whose parents really don't care or want them at the house. We do this to see extremely good students and generous students give of their time to take a special needs student home after a track meet, not because they have to, but because they want to. We do this to see a senior girl asking a student to prom, a challenged student, just because she thought he would enjoy the experience. We do this for the student who struggled with drugs during her freshman year and completely was able to turn her life around by the time she was a junior. We do this for the student who was diagnosed with a brain tumor and given less than 5 years to live. We do this to make school the best possible place for that student, since it's the only normal thing in her life. Why do we do what we do? We don't do it for the thanks, because thanks rarely come. But remember that student I told you about that we give grief to for wearing attire from other schools? Well, we do this for that student, and in her own words she writes, "Mr. Vio, remember the good old days when I was a good student? Remember when you gave me crap for a solid 4 years for wearing that hideous green sweatshirt? I could prolong this for 2 more years and hand this sweatshirt down to my brother, but I think it's time to put it to rest. Looking at this sweatshirt, I hope you think of me wearing it, giving me crap, but never forget the smile on my face when I wore it. Thank you for the best 4 years of my high school career. I hope you can continue to share this story when people ask you, 'Why do you have an Edina sweatshirt?' I really enjoyed wearing this sweatshirt just to grind your gears, and I was proud whenever I wore it. So, now it's your turn. Wear it proud, Mr. Vio." So why do we do what we do? Simply put, we do what we do because we make a difference. We know we have a positive impact on our students' lives. It's been an honor to represent MASSP as the Assistant Principal of the year 2013. I look forward to many more wonderful experiences with this group of fantastic professionals. It's been said that one who loves what they do never works a day in their life. I am fortunate. I never go to work. I've been blessed to be able to go to school for the last 42 years of my life. This is a great career, and I thank you.